include, "I have questions," and perhaps a word of warning. Larry Silverstein is a prominent New York real estate developer who signed a 99-year lease for the World Trade Center in July of 2001, just 6 weeks before the 9/11 attacks. Following the destruction of the World Trade Center, he led the site's reconstruction and engaged in 6 years of litigation, ultimately receiving $4.55 billion in insurance payouts. Notably, on September 11, 2001, Silverstein was not in his office at the top of the Twin Towers that very morning. Silverstein also owned 7 World Trade Center, which was also destroyed on 9/11. Coincidentally, Lucky Larry owns the U.S. Bank Tower in downtown Los Angeles, California, the exact city that the Trump administration has warned of a possible Iranian attack or a sleeper cell operation. Silverstein Properties acquired U.S. Bank Tower in 2020 for $430 million, 6 years ago. Hardly not the coincidence of his purchase of the World Trade Center. But 2 weeks ago, Silverstein Properties renewed a massive insurance policy to include terrorism insurance coverage, largely governed by the Terrorism Risk Insurance Act, or the TRIA, which enables businesses to recover from attacks by sharing losses between private insurers and the federal government. This current program ends in 2027. The $430 million acquisition involved Israeli insurance firms Migdal Insurance Company Ltd. And Menorah Miftavjam Insurance Ltd., who entered a joint venture with Silverstein Properties. Also notable is this man, Howard Lutnick. Howard is the current U.S. Secretary of Commerce, appointed by Trump. Lutnick is famous for also being conveniently not present on 9/11, though he worked in the World Trade Center, and he never missed a day of work until 9/11. In summary, the same man who knew not to be at work on 9/11, who leased the World Trade Center just 6 weeks before 9/11, and made billions from the 9/11 attacks, is the same man who owns one of the tallest skyscrapers in Los Angeles and recently took out a monumental insurance claim. And the other man, Howard Lutnick, is in Trump's cabinet, who also knew not to be at work on 9/11. And the insurance claim is held by 2 Israeli insurance companies that, if they pay out before the end of 2027, the United States government will pay part of it. Let that sink in. If you work in Los Angeles or in the Los Angeles U.S. Bank Tower, be alert. Pay attention to any changes in work patterns or unusual activity. It very likely will not be a terrorist attack, but rather a false flag intended to kill Americans to foment support for Israel's war. Everything in life has a pattern, and a coincidence is simply the moment when the pattern becomes briefly visible. We can see that. Stay vigilant, stay alert.